Ambassador Marcus Vale adjusted the collar of his pristine Earth Federation uniform as he stepped into the grand chamber of the Galactic Summit. His sharp eyes scanned the vast assembly hall, where representatives from hundreds of star systems sat in tense anticipation. This was a moment of fragile hope, a chance to bridge millennia of conflict and forge a lasting peace. Marcus was Earth's finest diplomat, renowned for his calm under pressure and unshakable commitment to dialogue. He had spent years building relationships, understanding alien cultures, and crafting compromises. Today, he was here not just to speak for Earth, but to represent humanity's dream of unity. The summit had already faced setbacks, petty rivalries, deep-rooted distrust, and shadowy factions eager to exploit any weakness. But Marcus believed in the power of reason. As the summit began, Marcus delivered his opening address with eloquence and passion. He spoke of cooperation, shared knowledge, and mutual prosperity. The crowd listened, some nodding in agreement, others skeptical, yet beneath the surface, tensions simmered. Hours later, during a recess, Marcus was escorted to a private corridor for a scheduled meeting with representatives from the Tarath Dominion, a powerful and expansionist empire known for its ruthlessness. The hallway was dimly lit, the silence thick with unease. Suddenly, the air cracked with a sharp sound, a silenced energy pistol discharge. Marcus staggered, clutching his chest, eyes wide with shock. He collapsed to the floor before anyone could react. Security forces rushed in, but the assassin had vanished into the labyrinthine corridors. Chaos erupted. The summit fell into pandemonium. Accusations flew like fire. Who wanted Marcus dead, and why? Back on Earth, news of the assassination exploded across every communication channel. Governments convened emergency sessions. The Federation Council debated their next move. "Marcus was our hope," President Arya Chen declared solemnly. "His death is a declaration of war. Whether intended or not, we must respond with strength and clarity." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, factions mobilized. The Tarath Dominion denied involvement, blaming rival powers eager to ignite conflict. Smaller systems edged toward taking sides, uncertain where loyalty should lie. On Earth, Commander Elena Voss, head of the Earth Space Fleet, was summoned. A veteran of countless battles, Elena was tasked with preparing the fleet for potential conflict, a task made all the more urgent by the escalating tensions. "We must be ready," she told her officers. "Our diplomat's death cannot be ignored. But we must also seek the truth. War without justice is a path to ruin." In the shadows, Earth's intelligence operatives began their work, hunting for clues. Among them was Lyra Chen, an expert in alien cultures and covert operations. She suspected the assassination was more than a simple attack. It was a spark in a powder keg. As the summit's delegates dispersed in suspicion and fear, a chilling message was broadcast galaxy-wide. One dead diplomat. 1,000 ships launched. Earth's answer will be unforgettable. The galaxy held its breath. The Galactic Summit was in ruins, not physically, but in spirit. The assassination of Ambassador Marcus Vale had shattered the fragile trust that once held the galaxy's diverse civilizations together. Instead of cautious optimism, fear and suspicion spread like wildfire. Delegates gathered in tense clusters, their voices hushed but sharp. Accusations flew with increasing venom. Some blamed the Tarath Dominion, whose expansionist ambitions were well known. Others suspected covert agents from rival empires hoping to ignite a war that would benefit their own agendas. On Earth, President Arya Chen faced mounting pressure. The Federation Council was divided. Some urged immediate military retaliation. Others warned against plunging the galaxy into chaos without concrete proof. "The galaxy watches us," Arya reminded them during an emergency session. "Our response will define Earth's place in this new era. We must be strong, but not reckless." In the military command center, Commander Elena Voss paced before a massive holographic display of Earth's defense grid. The fleet was formidable, but dwarfed by the combined forces of the major powers. She knew war was likely, but a full-scale conflict would cost billions of lives. "We need to buy time," Elena told her officers. "Intelligence, diplomacy, and precise strikes. No rash moves." Meanwhile, Lyra Chen worked undercover, following leads that twisted through the galaxy's underworld. Her search uncovered whispers of a secret cabal, shadowy figures manipulating the summit's outcome to their advantage. They called themselves the Sovereign Hand. Their goal was unclear, but their methods were deadly. Lyra risked everything to gather evidence, knowing that exposing the cabal could prevent a war or spark one. Back at the summit's ruins, the Galactic Council convened an emergency vote. The motion, to condemn Earth's leadership for destabilizing the peace and to demand disarmament of its fleet. The vote was close. Several smaller systems sided against Earth, intimidated or enticed by promises from the Dominion and other powers. Earth's ambassador, a steely-eyed woman named Dahlia Wren, responded with unwavering resolve. "We did not seek conflict, but we will defend ourselves and our allies." The death of Ambassador Vale was not an attack on one planet, but a declaration of war against all who value peace. Her words echoed across hollow networks, rallying support among human colonies and sympathetic systems. In response, protests erupted in Dominion territories, and underground resistance movements gained momentum. As tensions spiraled, the 1,000 ships, Earth's massive fleet hastily assembled, stood ready in orbital docks. Each vessel carried the hopes and fears of billions. For many, it was a last chance to protect their home. In a quiet moment, Elena confided to Lyra, "This war isn't just about politics or territory. It's about who we are as a species. Will humanity be remembered as conquerors or defenders of peace?" Lyra nodded. "And whether we uncover the truth in time to stop this madness." The galaxy teetered on the edge of war. The shattered summit was a warning. Peace was fragile, and sometimes the deadliest battle began not with guns, but with shadows and secrets. Underneath the glittering spires of Earth's capital city, Lyra Chen sat alone in the dim glow of her data terminal. The evidence she had gathered was troubling. A tangled web of forged communications, secret meetings, and unexplained transfers of weapons pointing to a covert alliance known only as the Sovereign Hand. The Sovereign Hand was unlike any threat Earth had faced before. They operated in the shadows, pulling strings to ignite wars and manipulate governments across the galaxy for their own gain. And now, it seemed, they had orchestrated Ambassador Marcus Vale's assassination to force Earth and the Dominion into open conflict. Lyra's fingers flew across the console as she cross-referenced intercepted messages with intel from her agents embedded in Dominion space. Each new clue brought her closer to the truth and deeper into danger. A sudden alert flashed across her screen, a secure transmission from an unknown source. "Meet at the old spaceport. Midnight. Trust no one." Lyra's heart pounded. This could be a trap, or her only chance to expose the conspiracy. Under the cover of night, she slipped through shadowed corridors and boarded an unmarked shuttle. The decrepit spaceport lay on the outskirts of the city, long abandoned but perfect for secret meetings. A figure waited in the darkness, a hooded alien whose face flickered between species, thanks to advanced cloaking tech. The emissary of the Sovereign Hand. "I know what you seek," the figure said in a voice distorted by a modulator, "but truth is a double-edged blade. To wield it is to risk everything." Lyra's resolve hardened. The galaxy teeters on the brink of war. If your hand is behind this, the cost will be unimaginable. "Tell me who you serve." The emissary hesitated, then replied, "We serve no one but chaos. Empires fall, Alliances break. We profit from the ashes. Before Lyra could react, alarms blared. The spaceport was surrounded by security forces, operatives of the Sovereign Hand. The emissary vanished into the shadows, leaving her alone and exposed. Fighting her way through a hail of plasma fire, Lyra escaped by sheer will and cunning. But now the stakes were clear. The Sovereign Hand would stop at nothing to see the galaxy burn. Back at Earth's command center, Lyra briefed Commander Elena Voss and President Chen. "We have a shadow war underway," she said grimly. "The Sovereign Hand engineered Marcus's death to trigger a war they can exploit. If we don't expose them, billions will die in a conflict they created." Elena's jaw clenched. "Then we fight on two fronts: open war with the Dominion, and covert war with this cabal." President Chen nodded solemnly. "Mobilize every resource. We need allies who can stand with us, and fast." In the weeks that followed, Earth's fleet grew stronger. Spy networks expanded. Resistance cells in Dominion territory began coordinating with human intelligence. The 1,000 ships stood poised for battle, their crews aware that the coming conflict was more than a fight for survival. It was a fight for the galaxy's soul. As war drums echoed louder, Lyra continued her hunt for the Sovereign Hand's leaders, knowing that only by cutting out the hidden hand could peace be restored. But in the darkest corners of the galaxy, the Sovereign Hand smiled. Their plan was unfolding perfectly, and soon no one would be safe. The vast shipyards of Earth buzzed with relentless activity. Dozens of colossal construction bays stretched like giant cathedrals into the sky, each cradling a warship more formidable than any Earth had ever built before. The 1,000 ships, Earth's answer to the galactic threat, were no longer just an ambitious project. They were a symbol of humanity's will to survive. Commander Elena Voss stood on the observation deck of the flagship Resolute, her eyes scanning the sprawling fleet formation assembling in Earth's orbit. Sleek battleships, fast frigates, and heavy cruisers moved with military precision, their hulls gleaming under the sun's harsh light. "We have the power to defend our home," Elena said to her second-in-command, Captain Rami Singh, her voice steady but charged with determination. "But this fleet is more than just metal and firepower. It's a promise to the people of Earth, to every colony, that we will not back down." Captain Singh nodded. "The crews are trained and ready. Morale is high. But the galaxy won't wait for us to finish building. Skirmishes have already started on the fringes." Elena's gaze hardened. "Then we'll finish faster. Every ship completed is another message to those who think they can threaten us." Meanwhile, deep within Earth's intelligence network, Lyra Chen coordinated with her agents scattered across Dominion space and other systems. Her recent discoveries about the Sovereign Hand had galvanized allies who had long suffered under the Cabal's influence. Hidden resistance cells now openly passed intelligence, sabotage efforts intensified, and propaganda exposed the shadowy Cabal's true motives. One transmission stood out, a cryptic message from a former Dominion general who had defected to Earth's side. "The Sovereign Hand's grip on the Dominion military is weakening. They fear exposure. Use it." Lyra relayed the intel to President Arya Chen during a secure video briefing. "The fight isn't just on the battlefield," Arya said thoughtfully. "It's in the minds and hearts of every system caught in this conflict. We must be as cunning as we are strong." As Earth prepared for war, the public faced the looming reality with a mix of fear and resolve. Families watched news feeds detailing the fleet's assembly and heard speeches promising protection and hope. Across cities and rural towns, volunteers enlisted, technicians worked overtime, and engineers innovated new weapons and defenses. Yet, beneath the surface, questions lingered. Would the 1,000 ships be enough? Could Earth truly stand against the combined might of the Dominion and other empires? And most troubling, Could the sovereign hand be stopped before they ignited a war that consumed everything? One evening, under a starry sky, Elena visited the memorial dedicated to Ambassador Marcus Vale. The towering statue depicted him mid-speech, a symbol of peace shattered too soon. She laid a wreath at the base, whispering, "We will finish what you started. We will protect humanity's future." Back aboard Resolute, as the fleet readied for deployment, orders came through. A Dominion fleet had been detected advancing near a critical trade route. It was the first test. Elena tightened her grip on the command console. All hands prepare for engagement. Today, we show the galaxy that Earth's answer is not silence. It's thunder. The 1,000 ships surged forward, a vast human armada, proud and unyielding, ready to carve their place among the stars. The galaxy would never forget Earth's answer. The vast void of space shimmered with the cold light of distant stars, but it was the sudden flurry of warship movements that captured every eye aboard the Resolute. The 1,000 ships of Earth's fleet had mobilized swiftly, their thrusters, painting streaks of blue as they surged toward the disputed trade route where the Dominion fleet had been detected. Commander Elena Voss stood at the helm, her voice calm but commanding. "All units, hold formation. Engage only on my mark." Around her, officers relayed sensor readings and tactical updates with rapid precision. The Dominion fleet was larger but less coordinated, a sprawling mass of ships trying to assert dominance in this vital corridor. "Captain Singh, what's the enemy's disposition?" Elena asked. 40 heavy cruisers, 60 frigates, plus support vessels. Their formation is tight, but their command signals are sluggish. "It's as if they're expecting reinforcements," Singh replied. Elena's eyes narrowed. "Good. That means they're wary, but they lack coordination. We'll exploit that." At her command, Earth's fleet executed a series of complex maneuvers that reflected years of tactical innovation. Smaller frigates flanked the Dominion's vanguard, drawing fire and exposing gaps. Meanwhile, the heavy cruisers formed an impenetrable line, shielding the fleet's core and the command ship. Suddenly, a Dominion dreadnought fired its plasma cannons, igniting the darkness with deadly arcs of energy. The Resolute's shields flared as the blasts struck, but the human warship held firm. Elena gestured sharply. "Return fire. Target the dreadnought's weapon arrays." The fleet's coordinated assault was devastating. Guided missiles and precision laser strikes crippled the dreadnought's offensive systems, forcing it into retreat. The Dominion flagship, sensing the tide turning, ordered a retreat, but Earth's fleet did not relent. "We're not letting them withdraw," Elena said. "Cut off their escape routes. Prepare boarding teams for hostile capture." As the battle intensified, Lyra Chen led a covert boarding party on one of the disabled Dominion cruisers. Her mission was critical: capture intelligence that could reveal more about the Sovereign Hand's influence within enemy ranks. Navigating through darkened corridors and bypassing security measures, Lyra's team found encrypted communication terminals. Hacking into them, she uncovered damning evidence, orders originating from the Sovereign Hand, directing Dominion fleets to escalate conflict, regardless of the cost. She transmitted the data to Earth's command center, her voice steady, despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. "This war is no accident. It's engineered. We have proof." Back in orbit, news of the battle's success sparked celebrations across Earth's colonies. The 1,000 ships had proven their mettle, defending humanity's space with precision and courage. Yet, the victory came with a sobering cost. Elena stood on the bridge, staring at the holographic casualty reports. Several ships were lost. Hundreds of brave souls sacrificed to hold the line. "We fought well," she told her officers, "but this is only the beginning. The Sovereign Hand will not stop until the galaxy is theirs. We must prepare for a long, relentless fight." President Arya Chen addressed the world, her voice firm and resolute. Today, Earth's answer echoed across the stars, not as a cry of war, but as a pledge to protect our future. We will not falter. We will not fail. As the 1,000 ships regrouped, new questions emerged. Who were the Sovereign Hand's true leaders? How deep did their infiltration run? And could humanity rally the fractured galactic powers before the war consumed them all? The galaxy was changing, shaped by fire, blood, and an unyielding human spirit. Earth had spoken. The battle for peace had only just begun. The galaxy had heard Earth's thunderous answer. But the war was far from over. As the 1,000 ships regrouped in orbit, new challenges emerged, both from within and beyond. On a distant moon, far from Earth's influence, a secret meeting convened in a hidden cavern illuminated by bioluminescent crystals. Representatives of independent star systems, former Dominion allies, and rebel factions gathered, wary but united by a shared fear: the Sovereign Hand's growing power. "We cannot stand by while the galaxy burns," said Lysara, a fierce leader of the Valari resistance. Her deep violet eyes glinted with determination. "Earth's fight is our fight. We must form an alliance before the Sovereign Hand tightens its grip." A murmur of agreement spread through the room. The alliance, unofficial and fragile, represented a new hope, a counterweight to the Dominion and the Cabal's influence. Back on Earth, President Arya Chen received word of the burgeoning coalition. It was a breakthrough, but also a reminder of how fractured the galaxy had become. "We must support them, without becoming entangled in their disputes," she instructed her advisors. "Unity against the Sovereign Hand is paramount." Commander Elena Voss prepared the fleet for the next phase. Skirmishes along key trade routes intensified as Dominion loyalists clashed with resistance cells backed by Earth's covert operatives. Each victory, though costly, chipped away at the Cabal's power, yet shadows deepened. Intelligence reports indicated that the Sovereign Hand was recruiting mercenaries and rogue fleets, hired guns willing to ignite chaos for profit. Their ranks swelled with desperate warriors and opportunists, making the enemy more unpredictable and dangerous. Lyra Chen, now a key strategist, worked tirelessly to infiltrate these mercenary bands. During a daring mission, she uncovered a startling revelation. The Sovereign Hand's leader was not a single individual but a council of elites, representatives from multiple empires who thrived on conflict. "War is their currency," Lyra briefed Elena and Arya during a tense meeting. "They profit by keeping the galaxy divided. We must expose their network and break their hold." Elena nodded grimly. "Then we strike at their roots. We'll hit their supply lines, disrupt their communications, and dismantle their command." The 1,000 ships launched precision strikes across contested space, each attack carefully planned to minimize civilian casualties and strengthen alliances with neutral systems. Meanwhile, Earth's propaganda networks broadcast messages of hope and resilience, rallying humans and allies alike. But the Sovereign Hand was relentless. One night, as Resolute orbited a contested system, alarms blared. A fleet of mercenary ships, cloaked in stealth technology, had launched a surprise assault. Elena ordered full battle stations. "They want to test our defenses. Let's show them Earth's fury." The ensuing battle was brutal, ships weaving through debris fields, energy blasts streaking across the void. Human crews fought with fierce determination, refusing to yield. Amid the chaos, Elena received an encrypted transmission, a warning from a Dominion defector inside the Sovereign Hand. "They fear your resolve," the message said. "Their council fractures. Use it." Hope sparked amid the darkness. As the battle ended with a narrow victory, Earth and its allies realized that the fight was not just about fleets and firepower. It was a battle of wills, alliances, and truths yet uncovered. The galaxy was watching, waiting, to see if humanity's fierce spirit could light the way through the gathering storm. The message from the Dominion defector sparked a daring plan among Earth's leaders. The Sovereign Hand's council was fracturing, and if they could exploit that weakness, the galaxy might be spared from total war. but it meant striking at the heart of the Cabal's power, a mission fraught with risk. Commander Elena Voss convened a strategy session aboard the Resolute. The room was tense, filled with the brightest minds and sharpest warriors Earth had to offer. "We've confirmed the Sovereign Hand's leaders meet in a hidden station within the Draxa Nebula," Elena began. "It's heavily guarded, but the defectors' intel gives us a narrow window to infiltrate and expose them." Lyra Chen's eyes gleamed with determination. "If we can broadcast their communications and expose their true agenda to the galaxy, their alliances will collapse." President Arya Chen nodded gravely. "This is our chance. We strike fast and decisively." The operation, codenamed Shadow, Break, began with a fleet of stealth frigates slipping through the nebula's dense gas clouds. Cloaked in advanced stealth technology, they avoided detection as they neared the secret station, an enormous ring-shaped fortress orbiting a dead star. Inside, the Sovereign Hand's Council convened, unaware that their enemies were closing in. The air was thick with tension, their voices laced with paranoia and greed. Suddenly, alarms blared. The stealth frigates struck, disabling the station's outer defenses with precision torpedoes. Boarding teams, led by Lyra, breached the fortresses. Hull gunfire echoed through dim corridors as Earth's operatives fought their way to the central control chamber. There, Lyra hacked into the station's mainframe, streaming encrypted communications to a fleet-wide broadcast. Across the galaxy, millions watched in shock as the Sovereign Hand's leaders revealed their plans, orchestrating wars, manipulating governments, and profiting from chaos. Systems that had supported the Cabal began withdrawing, fearful of association. The broadcast ignited uprisings within Dominion-controlled worlds and bolstered the resolve of resistance movements. The tide was turning, but the victory was bittersweet. The Sovereign Hand's surviving leaders escaped through hidden wormholes, scattering like shadows into the void. Elena surveyed the damage on the station as her team secured the area. "We cut off one head, but the Hydra remains. We must hunt them down." President Chen addressed the galaxy, her voice steady and triumphant. "Today we shattered the darkness that threatened us all. Earth stands not alone, but united with those who seek peace." As celebrations erupted, Elena and Lyra prepared for the final phase. The Sovereign Hand was weakened, but the real battle lay ahead, hunting the remaining council members and restoring stability to a fractured galaxy. The 1,000 ships surged onward, their resolve unbroken. Earth's answer echoed louder than ever. The final days of the campaign against the Sovereign Hand were a whirlwind of fire and strategy. With their secret council exposed, the remaining leaders scattered, desperate to cling to power. But Earth's 1,000 ships were relentless, hunting down each fragment of the Cabal with unyielding precision. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her eyes sharp beneath the dim glow of battle stations. Around her, the fleet moved in perfect synchronization, a symphony of steel and fire aimed at the remnants of a fractured empire. "Target the last known coordinates of the Sovereign Hand's flagship," Elena commanded. "This ends now." The flagship, a massive dreadnought called Nemesis, hid in a remote system near the galactic core. It was heavily fortified, protected by an array of drone swarms and automated defenses designed to repel any assault. But Earth's forces had learned much. Using advanced electronic warfare and new tactics forged in countless battles, the fleet pierced the defenses. A relentless barrage tore through the flagship's shields. Inside Nemesis, the final council members prepared for a last stand. Their arrogance unbroken, they believed their influence too vast to fail. Lyra Chen led the boarding teams. Moving swiftly through the damaged corridors, she confronted the leaders face to face in the control chamber. Their defiant sneers faded as Lyra exposed the truth, how their greed and manipulation had brought devastation across the stars. "Your reign of chaos ends here," she said firmly. The battle was fierce, but brief. With the Council captured and the Nemesis disabled, the shadow over the galaxy finally lifted. Back on Earth, President Arya Chen addressed a gathering of allies and citizens, her voice echoing through broadcast channels. Today, we have reclaimed our future. We faced those who sought to divide us and chose unity instead. The 1,000 ships proved not just strength, but humanity's spirit. Around the galaxy, liberated worlds began rebuilding. Alliances once shattered were reforged, and hope blossomed in places long shadowed by fear. Elena and Lyra stood together on the Resolute's observation deck, looking out at the stars, their home, their future. The galaxy won't forget Earth's answer, Elena said softly. Lyra smiled, a rare lightness in her eyes. And they'll know that when peace was threatened, humanity fought with everything it had. As the fleet set course for home, the 1,000 ships carried more than weapons. They carried a promise that no matter the darkness ahead, Earth would stand tall, unyielding, and ready to defend the spark of hope that burned within. The galaxy had changed forever, but humanity's journey was just beginning.